Hey, good evening ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sasha. Welcome to Skyffectuate map making series, once again after a long pause. Why the pause? Not because I did lose interest, because Mojang did some command block stuff with snapshots and I wanted to wait it out. But we will talk about that in a sec. First of all, this is the test for leaf decaying algorithm with wind. Which is why there's pots on here, because pots all kind of looks like leaves have fallen onto grass, right? And I wanted to test this if I want to have this. Like, in autumn, leaves decay, as I talked about earlier. Or that is the plan. And then it could put pots all where grass is. Kind of make that look like leaves have fallen down. And then in spring, change it back to grass. Would be a nice way to get pots all. The problem, obviously, is that first of all, it's kind of messy. Like, this is a randomized algorithm, but it didn't really work out all that well. Because it did way too much, for example, with wind. But nothing that isn't fixable. The main issue I have with this is that there is obviously no way to keep podzol except have no trees. Oh no, not have no trees next to it. Have no air above it. Have no air above it. Don't have not blocks above it. So if I have blocks here, this is never going to change back. Just because of the way my randomizer works. And it also kind of makes sense because it's not exposed to air, it's like in a building. However, that's the only way to keep podzol. If you want to have podzol outside, you can't, except when it's autumn or winter, because in spring it will change to grass. So I'm not sure yet what I want to do with this, if I even want to do this. Maybe I don't want to do this, maybe just make leaves decay, and we are done. No podzol changing. Just get podzol in some other way, like the current cow way, for example. Because otherwise you cannot use podzol for decoration, at least not consecutively. Other option is to use coaster, and probably not going to happen. Anyways, new command blocks. We got new command blocks. Which is the reason why I stopped working on this map, because I feared, hey, Mojang might rework command blocks completely, and if I do some work on this map, I might have to change, like, everything. In the end, that didn't actually happen. But I wanted to wait it out, and we got this system now, which is the system they first introduced when they started doing changes to command blocks. So these are normal command blocks, these are chain command blocks, and these are repeat command blocks. You can, like, chain command blocks automatically without having, like, these fill clocks. Which is great for conditional stuff and so on. We can do a lot more stuff. We can do a lot of stuff more effectively in this map. Like, I can probably cut these command blocks, not in half, but probably reduce the number by like 20 or something. That's great. Then it's great that these only cause block updates for the command blocks you chain them in. So, with this, we cause like a lot of block updates, because obviously this fill clock activates 20 times a second, it causes 20 block updates a second, where the redstone blocks is, but it also activates more blocks, and like the command blocks that also causes block updates. So we probably can cut block updates like in half, and possibly even more, because we can like chain command blocks. Man, this is loud. Why is it so loud? Oh yeah, because for some reason the snapshots have a different config file for me now, and I have to redo all my settings. Yeah, probably more than 50%, because not only can we get rid of the fill clocks, also we don't have to check everything 20 times a second. Because at the moment, like, if we want to do something, for example, we want to do this here, like where we take. I hope these command blocks are activated. They might not be in the snapshot because command blocks change. We want to craft some bricks and do this. Yeah. Sadly, these are all stopped, right? Yeah. For some reason, I'm not sure why. Let's actually start these up again. Dun, 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 dun. And then do this again, just for illustration purpose. We want to make bricks. How does this work? It checks 20 times a second. What the heck? FPS updates, yay, it makes stuff lag. We check 20 times a second for like any bricks that are on the floor that have a stack size of 4. And then we check 20 times a second for every bricks that are on the floor that have a stack size of 4 if there's pistons next to it. And then we check 20 times a second, and we check this all the time if the pistons extend. And this does... Yeah, this is weird. Maybe these cost too many block updates in 1.9. But we got new command blocks, we can fix that. So we check all of this stuff 20 times a second. However, with the new system, we can just check the initial stuff 20 times a second, like these 4 on the floor. And then everything else, we only check if it found 4 on the floor, because we can chain these like together, because they have arrows on them now. Like if you chain these, this one only activates if this one activated. And this one only activates if this one activated. And this one only activates when this one activated. And this one activates everything. But this checks for that then and sees if this is true. And if it is, it does stuff. And then this does, yeah. You get the point. Whereas with the old system, we have to check everything 20 times a second, no matter what. It's not conditional at all. So, like it checks if pistons extend around this item here. Although there's no pistons here even. Why should it extend? It doesn't make any sense. But that's how we had to do stuff. But now we can do stuff differently. Are you just playing like 14 music tracks at the same time? Because it sounds like it, Minecraft. Anyways, the big elephant in the room came last snapshot, and it's the new hunger system. It's not really the big elephant in the room. But I want to talk about this because I want to talk about some game design stuff too in this series. It's not all command blocks and how we do stuff, it's also game design because that's a big part of my map. And I enjoy designing new systems for stuff. Because I think the old systems suck. So the new hunger system. As before, you don't regenerate when you have less than 9 shanks. But if you have more than 8.5 shanks, so 9 shanks or more, you regenerate a little bit. It's like half a heart every 4 seconds. Let's see if this cookie. Let's wait 4 seconds. Oh, we got one. 3, 4, we should get one like right now. Yeah, half a heart. However, if your saturation is like at a certain point, like decently full, which mostly happens with better food, you heal like a lot. Because you heal the old thing, where you heal like half a heart every 4 seconds. But you also heal like 1 heart for the whole time. 1 heart per second for the whole time where your saturation is completely full. Oh yeah, now this doesn't work because I activated the command blocks. Darn it! Let's deactivate these. At least the hunger one. It's probably in player, right? Dun, 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 dun. Okay, let's eat this. Yeah. Okay, and now we heal like crazy amounts. So I'm not sure why exactly they did this. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. I mean, obviously, the idea is that something about the old hunger system wasn't good. Which I agree with. The old hunger system is not good at all. However, apparently they think completely differently than me, because otherwise they wouldn't have done this. Like, to get the big thing out there, this change is probably the worst change I've seen in Minecraft from a game design perspective since they nerfed fire spread into oblivion and basically make fire not spread anymore. Because that's how they nerf fire spread. It's like annoying. Lean nerf. Why is that so? That's because I think the problem with the hunger system is mainly that there's no reason. Like, we have all these different kinds of food. Let's go into game mode 1 again. And lots of food. And there's also like golden carrots here, plus young minutes. I'm actually not sure if you can eat these. Can you? No, you can't. Anyways, we got all these different kinds of food, but apparently everything except for steaks and pork chops and golden carrots. Oh, we already have golden carrots. It's kind of useless. I mean, rabbit stew is also kind of good because I think it even has more saturation than golden carrots, not sure. So, and steaks are incredibly easy to get. So, yeah, like all this stuff is like super useless. I mean, it adds variety, but it's useless. It's like, yeah, what is it like? Other games don't do this. Like, look at Doom, for example. It's like, this hunger system is like Doom giving you a weapon, and then it makes the old weapon useless, and then it gives you the next weapon, old weapon useless. First-person shooters don't do that. Only extremely bad first-person shooters do that. Instead, what they do is like have side grades and have weapons work in different ways, so weapons are still useful, even if you got them earlier. It's not like one weapon rules them all. Like, I guess in Doom you have like the pistol, which is kind of useless. But, I mean, in the beginning it's not useless because it's your only weapon. But then after that you get the shotgun, and then you get like the plasma gun, but still you mainly use the shotgun because there's not a lot of ammo for the plasma gun. And it's also wastage because plasma gun is extremely good against bosses, whereas shotgun is like really bad against bosses because you have to be close range and all the bosses have projectile attacks and you need to evade them, you want to be far away. Like Doom even goes out of the way to make weapons that are like extremely useless. Like you have your punch, right, in Doom? Like the first weapon you have, apart from the pistol, is your punch. You punch someone in the face. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but Doom goes out of this way to introduce the game mechanics that make the punch extremely useful, which is the Berserk mode, where you do like 10 times damage with the punch. Minecraft, however, has this hunger system, all these items, and all of this is like extremely useful, except for steaks and golden carrots. And I guess rabbit stew. Like, everything except the best foods are useless. However, they didn't actually fix this with the new hunger system. You might actually say, why is weather this way? Weather clear, please. Like, you might say, hey, this is kind of close to your new system in this game, which is like severely lackluster, where you only heal if you're like full and stuff. And no, it's actually not. Like, does the exact opposite. My system leads to you having to eat like worse foods, like cookies, if you don't want to fill your saturation completely, because otherwise you lose your saturation. I hope you know my old system, because otherwise this doesn't make any sense to you. However, Mojang's system basically makes... Let's go into game mode 1 again. Mojang's system makes like apples and cookies even more useless because they give very little saturation. But it makes golden carrots, for example, here, golden carrots all the more effective because they give a lot of saturation. And what it basically does is make worse foods even worse and really good foods even more really good. I don't get why they do this. Like, it makes stuff more powerful that's already too powerful, and stuff like too useless that's already useless. So, be prepared that this hunger system is not going to be in the Skyffectuate map. Like, not at all. What I probably will do is completely get rid of saturation, because I could use this bar to display something like heat level in winter. Like, you could freeze to death, for example. It's actually great, because if your saturation is like completely empty, effect, hunger, 1, so 66, 66, 66, because I don't know what the numbers mean. Because if you are really like cold and your bar is completely empty, you take damage. It's great. It's already done for me. So could use that bar for something else and then like completely change the hunger system. How would we change it? I don't know. I want game mode 1. I want to look into this. I mean, big part of the reason I made this map is because I think a lot of items in Minecraft are like extremely useless. That's why you have to play like the whole early game with wooden tools in my map. It's also why the cauldron has actually a use of you getting water. Where's the cauldron? There. Oh, and They might have fixed stuff with the cauldron. I can use it for more stuff. I think they fixed this. Yay! We can have items in cauldron now. Before they would like derp and fly all over the place if you threw them into cauldron. It was annoying. But they fixed this, which is great, because it's a cauldron. What if we combine that with a hunger system and you cannot craft rabbit stew. Rabbit stew. You have to actually like cook it in a cauldron. Huh? Huh? Anyone? Because it's a really good food. I guess. It could be a really good food. So, yeah, cauldron to craft stuff. Great. That means also we have this thing going on in this map with a... Where is it? Here. With a hearth. So this is the hearth. And where we can craft like a lava. Where's my netherrack? That's not netherrack, that's netherrack. So in case you don't know this, you probably know this if you watch the series. This crafts lava. Takes about 30 seconds. I hope these command blocks, yeah, they work. Because there's like embers flying out. And originally I wanted to have this happen in a cauldron. Because it makes much more sense to me to have that happen in a cauldron. But I couldn't because everything flies out of cauldron like no matter what. Like, I don't know, like cauldrons are like anti-magnetic superhero cauldrons. It does make sense that this stuff flies out, but hey. It's been like that for a long time and finally they fixed it. So we could craft that in a cauldron. Would probably be annoying. And doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because if there's water in the cauldron, probably be annoying. However, we can use cauldrons for cooking and maybe crafting other items, like an alternative to making clay. Like right now you have to wash clay into dirt. You have to wash sand into dirt to make clay. But that's not very automatable. It's automatable, but it's like ridiculously complicated because you have to like do stuff with piston tapes and stuff. This would be much nicer. Like if we just throw a piece of dirt in here. We dirt, piece of sand. And it makes a piece of clay. Or it makes 4 clay balls probably, because then you can use the clay balls. Like this. Give me clay balls. Where are my clay balls? 1, 2, 3, 4. Can use the clay ball like this. I mean, clay block. Huh? Because if it just gave you a clay block, then it would be bad. Maybe this works to make a clay block. That's great. And then maybe we can push that above a hearth, and it makes like hardened clay automatically. Haha. Or you just break it and put it into cauldron. Oh, not cauldron, furnace. Question though is, does this still work? Because I fear it might have also been fixed with this fix. Before, back in the day when you could still throw stuff into a cauldron when the bug wasn't in the game yet, and they haven't fixed it for like 400 versions. If you threw items into that cauldron, they would land in the hopper no matter what. Does this still work? Yes, it does. So you can automate this. Because obviously you can power the hopper by default, and then you throw your stuff you want to cook in there. And you put a timer and wait until it's cooked with the timer, and then you do this. And stuff in your hopper, and then you put it somewhere else and do other stuff with it. Because Skyffectuate and production chains and satisfying stuff, automation. Great. So now that we talked about this, I can safely say that this new hunger system is like the worst thing I've seen since Fire Spread. Like, it's bad. Why do they do that? Why not make a hunger system that makes use of bad foods? Like, I don't know. Add like a vitamin counter, and you have to eat apples and beetroots every now and then. Because otherwise your vitamin counter goes down, your max health is reduced to 8. Or like omega-3 counter, you need to eat cooked fish. Because otherwise your omega-3 is going to waste. Maybe a neurotoxin counter, so if you eat raw pork chops a lot, you get a neurotoxin counter and your health gets lowered when your neurotoxins are too high. Huh? Maybe? I don't know. But yeah. So it's probably a good idea to use this bar for something else and get completely rid of the saturation mechanic. Like, still don't use natural regeneration in my map. Because it's an easy display. I don't want to have the scoreboard on the right side. I mean, that is just for testing purposes at the moment. But if you actually play the map, I don't want you to have a scoreboard on the right side to tell you stuff. You could better use this bar. This could also be used for food stuff instead of like coldness, because the coldness thing was a long shot. That was just an idea. It's probably a bad idea to introduce like coldness and make your body temperature decrease during winter and rain or whatever. It's a little bit too like gamey, probably in the end, because then you like run around with a flint and steel so you don't get cold and fire up some grass while you work and do other stuff. It's like gamey. No one wants that. At least I don't want that. Systems that are inherently gamey are inherently bad systems, unless it's like a puzzle game or whatever. If you think about how could I break this system, which you would do if you have like a coldness meter, it would be incredibly gamey. Instead, this could also be like a health meter, like not like actual health points, but like general health and well-being. Like this could be locked to 3, for example, and then when you eat an apple, it increases by 2 for half an hour of gameplay, for example, because vitamins. If you eat fish, increase by 1. And I don't know, that might also turn out gamey. But you just have to like make a system that is simple enough, but simple enough to be simple, because the simple systems are the good systems, but complicated enough so people don't actually can calculate what is going to happen. Like if people can calculate, for example, let's go into game mode 1. Can calculate, hey, I just, because of the way the timings work out, I just have to eat like 2 apples a day and 1 fish and maybe 1 salmon and a beet, 2 melon slices, and we also need some fiber. Where do we have fiber? I mean, the apple has fiber. Well, the apple, carrot is like 90% fiber, and 3 carrots. So if I eat that a day, I always stay at max health. Not max health points, but max like general well-being health in the saturation bar. And if the system ends up being like that, calculatable, it's bad. Because that is inherently gamey, and then people just eat that every day and they are fine. It's like, no. However, the question is, how do you make that not so gamey? I mean, diminishing returns is like one way, probably. So getting to 10 is like incredibly hard, and the closer you are to 10, the less a carrot does. But then people will just spam carrots. So I don't know, I will try to figure something out with this. Because I think that's a good idea to use the bar for that. Because it's already like, it's Shanks, it makes sense, it's already like themed. Like if this is like hotness or warmness, it does make a lot of sense. Then it should be like, I don't know, snowflakes or something. Okay, let me check how long I talked into my microphone here, and then maybe we do something with these command blocks. Check them out, because I don't know exactly how they work yet. I haven't experimented with them really. I just know that this one is purple. It's kind of purple, it's indigo, right? And this one is, I don't know, could be teal, could also be like gray, green, teal, tiny bit of blue. And this one is, I don't know what that color is. Almost skin colored. Not really. It's like the skin color in really bad pixel art is like exactly this. Okay, be right back. Okay, just so this episode isn't like me throwing ideas around for 25 minutes, and who wants to see that? I mean, is anyone even still watching? I don't know. We will try some stuff out with these command blocks. So, I've looked a tiny bit into them right now. And we have this creeper thing where we can make like cobble into gravel in this map. We'll quickly demonstrate that on this creeper. Boom! Got gravel. Let's try to translate that into the new system. So before, we had 5 command blocks that had to like check every 20th of a second for stuff. These... Oh, it's 6. And we will make that into these 6. So the purple one here, or the indigo one, let's not call that purple because it's not purple. The indigo one is the repeat thing. And as far as I know, if you put a command into this, it always does stuff. Like, say hi. Ah, it says hi, because we have always active here, and not need redstone. That's good, because we want the creeper thing to be always active, because it always needs to check for this creeper. So sadly, this thing is still one line, so I cannot show commands decently. Because I don't know why! I guess I can if I just do this. Ah. Okay, so it executes at every creeper and detect command when it detects a cobblestone in his head and in his feet. And if he has a cobblestone in his head and in his feet, he gets a scoreboard value of mob effects 1. Because we need to be able to identify that creeper. And then our next command block just fills in the stuff around the creeper with gravel. And we can just do this, right? So this is the chain command block. It's conditional, which means this only executes if this executed correctly. Which means this is not going to execute 20 times a second. Which is great, because before we executed this 20 times a second too. And this, and this, and this. So it should reduce lag, because it doesn't like check this all the time. It only checks it if there was a creeper in the first place that had the cobblestone in it. Okay, we can just leave that command as is. We probably can leave all of these as is. This one does the sound, so it just checks for the creeper. And let's do always active. Because otherwise we need to put redstone blocks next to it. And particle effect. I mean, these are not important for it to work. I still want these in the end. Block crack effect. What we could potentially do... Yeah, it doesn't really matter. And then the last one gets rid of the creeper. Not by killing him, but by teleporting him below the world. Because otherwise you would get drops. Haha. And he insta despawns. Okay, and this also needs to be conditional. What you can also do with these command blocks, as far as I know, is fork them off. Although I'm not sure how that actually works. Like, can I fork this and do this? And then fork the particle effects over to here and do the important stuff here, because, I mean, it's not really important, but it would be nice because it's a lot easier to work with. If you know, hey, everything that is needed for this to work is like here, and everything that's eye candy and sound is like here. Haha. Would be nice, but I don't think this works. But let's quickly test that. Just put this one here, and this one, and this one, and this one. This one says, say hi. Then this one says, you. This one says, nice. This one says, sky. And we need to change all of these. Conditional, please conditional, and you also conditional. Always active. It doesn't even do stuff. Oh, it shouldn't be conditional. It doesn't say nice. Okay, maybe you cannot fork this. I know that you can, like there's a command, because this is like saved in entity data where the arrow leads. Or not entity data, tile entity data or whatever. Block entity data is, I think, the official description nowadays. Anyways, you can change where these point. So potentially you could fork this like another way. Like if we do this. Oh no, that doesn't work. If we do this, that works, right? We can change directions. Can I please place you? This is like infuriating because it uses the piston placement system. Say you. Conditional. Ah, say hi. Say you. Why doesn't this say anything? Maybe. You cannot change directions. Say you. Okay, that works. Let's copy the exact command block. Oh, now it works. That's weird. Because it was conditional? But this succeeds! How is this not working? That's conditional. Hey, this succeeds, then do this. This succeeds, do this. It doesn't. Because it doesn't actually matter if these are conditional or unconditional, really. Although it does matter, because otherwise this would execute 20 times a second, right? Okay, never mind. So, I think we are done here. Okay, let's turn off that system. Did I turn off that system already? I did. And now I got rid of all my redstone. Let's quickly test if this works. Yes, it does. Okay. Now what I'm interested in is, does this work flawlessly even if we execute it twice really fast? First of all, we'll do it at the same time. I mean, that's a no-brainer. That should work. No, logically that should work without a hitch. It does. Okay, but that's actually not what I'm worried about. I expected it to work. What I kind of expect to maybe not work is if there's like one tick delay between this. So we could use a repeater here. The problem with this is that's not one tick delay. Because that's 2 ticks. That's 1 redstone tick. 1 redstone tick is 2 game ticks. And I know for a fact these don't execute in redstone ticks. These execute in game ticks. They execute 20 times a second, not 10 times a second. Like repeaters. So we somehow need to do this with a torch. How would you do this with the torch? I don't actually know all that well. Huh. That's actually an issue, because with the torch the pistons will be extended. However, let's put a torch here. And a block above that. Dun, 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 dun. We will just extend these by default. And then put a creeper in there, right? Like right here. Although, in case you ever glitch through pistons, this has also been fixed. That's like the same bug as the cauldron bug, by the way. So this works flawlessly now. Look at that. Like before, you would just fall into the piston. Same with the piston arms. So it might actually be challenging getting a creeper in here. But I can do it. So we can just summon. Summon creeper, -2. Hello, creeper. Okay. So I hope this works. Look at that! The block stuff functions so awesomely that it pulled the creeper back into the piston. Oh god. That's awesome! Why does this work? Where did the creeper go? Are you still here? Yeah, look at that. It's like perfect. Like, this is like single-player levels of Minecraft. In case you don't know, there used to be a single-player version of Minecraft before Minecraft 1.3 that like ran locally and not on a server. And it worked like flawlessly. There was no entity lag or anything. It worked like so smooth. And then they changed it to be multiplayer only. And if you play single player, it runs on a local server. And since then, we get all these super annoying bugs where stuff doesn't work. And entities get explained and stuff. You get lost. How do I get you in there? I know. Okay, you cannot really do that with the torch unless you use a torch that is no torch, which is a comparator torch. But that's way too complicated for me. I mean, I know how it works, but it's a decent amount of setup because you need to use a lot of set blocks and reset the comparator because otherwise it doesn't update fast enough. We do this, we check for like a score of 3 and then we check for a score of 4 because this increases 20 times a second. That's like one tick. And if we set the score to 0, these do not activate at the same time, right? And now we just assume that that is one tick and not one redstone tick. Because one redstone tick would sound like this. Let's use just this. Let's quickly check one redstone tick. Sounds similar. Right? No, that's way more delay than that. It's ding, ding, and this is ding, ding, ding. Okay. So this gotta work. So let's see if this actually works. Because I fear that this might not work if these are all like conditional. Because by the time this one checked, hey, did this one execute correct? Can I execute this? This one executed again, because that's one tick later. And I found the second creeper maybe. Then again it checks for all creepers. That might actually be why it won't work, because it checks for all creepers and not for a single creeper. But we will see. This actually works. Ah. Okay, it does. Then, never mind. Okay, sorry for the long and talky episode, but I don't want to do exclusively this command block stuff. I also want to talk about game design, and a little bit of a rant about the hunger system, and a little bit of idea throwing how we could fix it in the end, because after seasons, that's the next thing, and ideally I want to connect it to seasons. And yeah, we're gonna update all of this stuff into these command blocks. Which isn't too much work, it's mostly copy-paste. But I wish the command block interface was nicer for that. It isn't. It's still one line. There's like all the screen space here. You can display like code, like with line breaks, something that is readable for a human. Maybe. But no, they don't do that. Maybe I'll make a video about that at some point. But not a Skyffectuate video, just a... Here, you can do this and this stuff with command blocks, so people don't have to code in like Notepad++ instead of Minecraft. Anyways, thanks for watching this probably awful to watch video, and until next time, have a good day, take care.